Hi, I'm trying to make the camera be straight when I talk to you guys. This is a chit chat. Hey, hi. So I was thinking about that last chit chat I did about, the veteran thing. And I was trying to piece some things together, like for me, right? Because no one's the same. No one's got the same traumas. We've all got different things, right? And I don't take meds. I don't take the medications. They're not good for me. There's adverse reactions and I have them. So that's why I don't take them. Okay. Some people, maybe they don't have that, but me, I'm one of those people that do. So I stay away from any kind of pharmaceutical. And because I figured that out for myself, I figured out that, all right, so those things aren't doing good. I got to figure out how to get better. Right. And so part of it, I figured something out. Say that you have a toxic family originally, and you decide, okay, I'm going to get away from all this. I'm going to join the military. Then I'm going to get straightened up. I'm going to, and I'm going to make my life better, right? Let me just check real quick. Okay, I just fed them, so maybe Brian's being a little touchy about his food. So I don't know how long this is going to go because I want to explain something, okay? So we have a lot of people that do go into the military because they have no other way to succeed in life, right? Their family's not supportive. They don't, whatever, right? So that's what I decided to do. I didn't have a supportive family. I wasn't pushed to go school or even graduate high school. They did not care, period. All right. They didn't show no effort in caring at all. Like, I don't know what it feels like to be cared for by a loving family at all, right? Like I said before, I had to see how it looks like on the road here, and that was never my family. So these people, they join the military to get away, and then they think, okay, they have no one else, so they still continue to write back to that toxic family and everything, hoping that they'll make the family proud. Maybe the family will treat them better because they're proud of them or whatever, right? So the person finishes, they get out. They may have gotten trauma while they were in, like in my case, and are not even sure about it, right? They didn't even know, because I didn't even know. I didn't even hit up a VA until several years after I got out because I didn't know. Somebody said, wow, you look like you're having a tough time. This was when I lived in Long Beach, and they said, you need to go to the VA. And I did. And I figured out a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, there was a lot of opportunity for there. They even got me a place to stay, the HUD Vash and all that stuff. The problem is, okay, this is a good step to get me in a place like a home and this, that, and the other. But then when it came to the mental health, it wasn't helping. It actually got worse. I went to a downward spiral. I got into drugs and everything. On top of that, they were giving me pills and putting me in all kinds of classes, and it wasn't even working. It was like, and I told them, when I was on drugs, I told them the drugs I was using too. And they couldn't help me there. They couldn't. And then, the family I was married, that spiraled because they all thought I was nuts, and they showed no care about my mental health. They just wanted me out of the picture, and they got it. They did it through manipulation. They slandered my name. They told me I was crazy, all kind of things, what I'm dangerous, whatever. And so that right there is an uncaring family. Now, if you have a family that cares and things are going on, wouldn't you think that the family would be like, let's go see what's wrong with, because if something is not right, let's get help. Let's show them support. No, I got zero of that. I got zero. Actually, I was basically put down and treated like dirt because I got hurt or I got traumatized or I was injured. Yeah, I didn't have a careful family. Hold on. I just want to turn this water off. I'm trying to make a little cup of coffee right here. But yeah, so then you have that. You have people who get out of the military going back home to their families who don't really know what's going on with them and automatically assume they're nuts or they're crazy, and then you lose that family, and then there's more trauma. The family that you thought would help you or be there for you actually pile on more trauma. And I'm talking about veterans here, right? More trauma, and they don't care what happened. They push them out of their lives. So that's another thing, right? Because that's what happened to me. This is how I know. I'm not guessing all this stuff. That it could happen to someone. It's because it happened to me. So I didn't have a caring family. Nobody cared what happened to me in there. Nobody cared. I almost died. Nothing at all. No, when I got out, it was more like, okay, you got to go to school. You got to do this. You got to do that. But I had a child. So if I had a child, I had to do all that stuff with the child, and the husband at the time provided me with no help, no financial security, nothing. I paid for everything. All right. Then we ended up going to live with his mother, him still not supporting me or my family, piggybacking off of mama. He basically, we stayed with his mom. Yeah. And then I went to school. And while I was there, he not once lifted a finger to help me when I was studying. And while I was working and paying the bills for him, I was supporting him for his degree. He never did anything to help me at all with the child. Nothing. Not financially, not helping clean, cook, nothing. I had to cook and clean and take care of him and work and take care of the child. And he didn't do nothing. So he got his life together, and then I got pushed away because that basically drove me nuts. Yes, it basically drove me nuts. And so I ended up being, kicked out from this family, and my son got taken. All kinds of terrible things happened because of him and the trauma the extra trauma that he piled on top of the trauma I already had. I married a terrible person, but I'm over it, and I lost my son due to him, and now, to be honest with you, I can't even trust, even if my son decided to come back, I can't even trust my son because he has been groomed by that man. And if he was groomed by that man, even my child, if he comes back, he must prove loyalty and he has to prove to me that I can trust him because I just can't. It's trauma. You know what I'm saying? And so the VA never, I have it's okay. I let them fly around. I let them, because they find their way out. If they don't, they'll die. I feel bad, but I can't tell them, once I shut this up and then everything goes dark and I spray stuff in here, whatever's in here dies, I'm kind of worried about mices, so I might have to get some mice poison, a mice trap, but hey, if I got to do that, I got to do it, It's the way I have to live out here if I want to be safe myself, so. But yeah, so we have veterans that come out, they're all messed up. And, it's not just veterans either. It's not just veterans, I notice, We have some people out here that have just been put through the ringer through their very own families. And they can't even get the help they need because, ain't no mental health people out here good. They just want to give you pills and hopefully you calm down. It's not helping, though. It's not helping. It's not. So anyways, what I was thinking, it's like a chain of events that happens to people who have trauma. And instead of trying to help them, people are pouring on more trauma onto their person or their relative or whoever they're with. And that person takes a downward spiral and and then they try to get help maybe, and then they go to the VA and then they get all kind of pills, and what happens? Because those pills are not regulated and they don't know what's what for what, that person goes nuts and ends up killing themselves, and another veteran suicide. We have that with the normal people out there too, who can't get the help they need. Normal person suicide. Because they don't know what to do. They can't get the help. Yeah, I triggered my own self today because I spoke about that. It's little things like that can trigger a person. But thank God I have control of my emotions because I live my life like that. I live my life like that every single day. I live my life thinking, whoa, don't get too out of control. Calm down. You know, when you got a lot going on and you can't realize what's going on in your life, you can't do like me. You can't, because you got kids, you got work, you got school, whatever you got going on. It's hard for a person to step back and say, all right, let me think about this. What just happened? Why am I feeling this way? I can sit back and think about it like I did. And how I do it, I start from the very beginning. How did it start? And how does it progress? And how can I fix this? Or what can I do to just relax, take a deep breath, calm down, and figure it out, right? I don't need to hurt myself. I don't need to hurt anyone. What I need to do is sit down and think about it. Now, if you're going to try to do these things, I'll tell you what, you cannot do this type of thing unless you are absolutely free of toxins in your body. No alcohol, no drugs, no pills, because pills have an effect on your mental state also. And some people are like, oh, but this person needs it because they have this, that, and the other. I mean, if it doesn't affect their mental state, then maybe, and if it makes them safer, then maybe that is good. But you also have to think about this. What are they eating? What are they drinking? Are they eating fast food every day? That food is not good for you. It's not good for brain health at all. You know, you got to think about making changes, and these changes include putting toxins in your body, which is food, drugs, alcohol, whatever, right? Even like, I mean, to me, I don't know about everyone else. Even to me, like some of the products they have out there, they put these chemicals in there that's really not good for your skin, but it's seeping into your body. It's getting into your cells. It's switching up the mitochondria. Whatever you got going on in there, it's affecting you. To me, the best way to live is just anything natural that you can, the best you can, right? Maybe not all the food in the stores, even the vegetables and meats are not 100%, but it's better if you can get it and cook it yourself and season it yourself. And, you know, it is better. I mean, it's not better than having your own farm and having your own, crops. It's not better than that. But if that's all you have, that's the best you can do. And to stay away from weird product, that affects your health and your skin, and anything that goes on your skin is clogging your pores, and it going into your skin and affecting your cells. So, I mean, you have to think about it like that. And that's how I do. I try to do everything natural, and I focus on that stuff, which takes my mind off of what happened before, right? And then when it takes my mind off of what happened before, and I'm triggered again to think about it because it happened, I'm able to think more clearly. I'm able to regulate my emotions and sit down and just think for a second instead of get out all of control and tripping out or no, because my body is healthy and I don't do anything I don't put any toxic stuff in my body. I feel that with my mental state, I am able to clearly see and envision things better than if I was on some kind of drug. You know what I'm saying? And I can think, step back, and keep going back, because it's not always one trauma. It's like lots of traumas piled on top of each other. And, it's like once a person has one trauma, you can help that person. But if you have an unsupportive group of family and friends and those who might have even instilled some of that trauma, you got to get away from them. Because they're going to bring you back down. Because they themselves, if they don't understand what I'm talking about right now, like for instance, they will not understand that they need to be more supportive. And what's sad about the whole thing, in my case, is I was around doctors and nurses, and they didn't even see that. So this is another reason why I don't trust the doctors and the nurses community, because I was around a bunch of nurses who were alcoholics and drug addicts. No, I can't do it. And the kids dipping into the pills for their own habits, they're dangerous people. So this is why I don't, Yeah. And on top of that, I even tracked back traumas from them, and it led me to figure out the traumas of another person in that family, which led me to believe that that family is toxic. That's how I figured it all out, because before I was like, it's all me, I'm terrible, I'm this, I'm that. No, it's not that. And I am not any of those things. If I were to describe myself, I think I'm a very kind person. I'm caring and compassionate. I care for everyone. I care for everything. I care for plants, people, bugs even, animals, anything, because I am compassionate like that. These people don't have a sliver of that, even though there might be nurses there. I've seen them do horrible, toxic, terrible things to people. And I went to nursing school and I figured out, no way, there is no way I want to do that. Because when I was in nursing school, you couldn't even see the nurses and the teachers sitting back, not doing their jobs and being picky about it. And I see people get, no, I don't trust the hospitals anymore. You know what I'm saying? I try, but I do appreciate going through that, because if something happens to me, I can help myself, right? Or if something happens out there, I can help someone else, right? Just basic though, because I was also a licensed EMT. So I know that I can help that way. And, so what I do is I try to make myself happy by figuring myself out, figuring out the traumas, knowing what happened, and just moving on, and maybe trying to share it with you guys. I could probably write a book, but I don't know that I have written something, but I wrote it as fiction. The names have been changed because I don't want to, put anyone on blast, but anyone who knows me and who knows anybody I've ever known in my past, that's the story of what happened. And I would dare to tell you that the people I was involved with who are in that story, y'all should be shaking in your boots, but I don't even know if I'm gonna put that out. But y'all are terrible people, and you know who you are. Absolutely horrible. And you know what? I don't need to take revenge or do anything. You know why? Because I'm a firm believer in karma. And I believe that God is watching everything. And, you get what you deserve. And I've already seen people pass away in that family just dropping off. So, but that's not on me. That's not on me, because I don't wish anybody's death. I don't wish anybody's downfall. None of that stuff. And and people might think, oh, she's a witch, she's mad. No, I believe in God, I believe in a lot of different things. I'm not specific. I was baptized Catholic and Protestant. Why? Because my mother did the unmentionable to me while I was in the womb. And it led me to believe that all these terrible things that happened was because of something that she did. But I turned it around, I turned it around, and I started believing in God. And I started to think about, why. And I figured that out too. I figured out why she did it. So I don't really blame her. I don't blame anybody for what happened to me, especially since I pulled myself out of it. Usually people who are stuck in that, they blame whoever did it. And yeah, there is blame. You can blame. And maybe that is what happened, but you don't have to stay there in that funk. You can get out of it. You can realize what happened and be like, oh, that's why she did this and did that and baptized me and did this and only gave me books about fairies and like, I figured it all out. Okay. But she didn't know any better. She didn't know any better. She was more trying to focus on herself and raising us. But all that overwork, what did it do? It drove her nuts, because she had a lot on her plate, like I did. I had a lot on my plate. It kind of drove me to insanity. And then I was called a crazy person and all this same thing happened to her. Like my sister, she thinks like, oh, we didn't have the same upbringing. We had a completely different upbringing. She had a fabulous father, which I did not have. And my mother treated her differently also. So we didn't have the same upbringing. So she has no idea. She did have traumas. Don't get me wrong. She had her traumas too, but I had some too that they're not equivalent. Nobody's trauma is equivalent. Um, but yeah, like I swear I know how to help, but it's like the thing is people, you have to want to fix yourself. You have to be thinking in your mind like, this is not me. Why am I here? This is not me. That's what happened to me. I woke up homeless in my car in Santa Monica, and I looked around and I was like, what the hell? This is not my life. How did I end up here? And I basically, excuse my French, I was like, fuck this place. And I packed up everything and I left. That was the start of my healing, right? Something that kept me messed up, though, was getting in touch with a VA where I lived. I got in touch with 2 VAs. They triggered me and brought me back to contemplating suicide. So I'm telling you, the VAs are not good. You got to watch out where you go, okay? Maybe they're good at some medical because they got the machines, they got people that know how to work them. But when it comes to the mind, they do not know. They don't. And I feel bad for anybody that's struggling and they're dealing with the VA because, I could tell you what I do here. And if you can get to this point, you will understand. Like, once again, I told you before, I even contacted the VA, told them I had an idea, and they never wrote me back. They never called me back. I called to speak to the White House representative. They called me back, and I have not heard from them since. My healing is great, right? I have to work every single day. But because I have to do that, it keeps my mind off of the downhill spiral. I don't think about going and doing drugs. I don't think about drinking. I don't do that. It's just not there anymore. What I think about is, okay, what kind of healthy meal am I going to have today? What kind of book am I going to read today? That too. Reading, keeping the mind busy, even if it's just random books, just anything. Read anything to take your mind off of things, watch a show, but something wholesome, watch a show that makes you feel good. Like I'm watching Seinfeld right now. I've already watched the whole thing, but it's nice and it's wholesome, so I'm watching it again because I know I've fallen asleep on some of those episodes, and I have, because I noticed, right? Try to watch things that uplift you, right? Social media, today's music is horrible. If you want to be thinking bad thoughts, listen to that stuff all day. Trust me, you will be thinking bad thoughts and have bad ideas. I kind of like to stick to my 80s music or some of the nice tunes that I remember back when, or even classical music, the classics that they say are classic rock or whatever. I listen to the old stuff because the music is not like that anymore. It's all trash now. So it's like I have to work every single day to keep myself away from things. And now I'm starting to hear, like, I'm seeing some certain artists that I used to like, and now I'm hearing all the terrible. And now, dang, it's like you gotta be careful, and because that happened, like every time I see a video come up talking about this person, whether it's that person's page or just a fan, I automatically block them because I don't want to see that at all in my feed. You can do that, you guys. You can block stuff in your feed. You don't have to subscribe, but they'll still show up. The best thing to do is just block the channel. I'm not interested in this channel, and just move along. And then you can avoid seeing those bad things, I'm not around celebrities, so I don't really have to worry about that kind of stuff, but I can control what I watch when it comes to them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an ongoing, everyday, just think, what can you do better for yourself? And then how can you make yourself healthy? And when you think your mind is kind of in a good place, then you start thinking about what happened. How did I get there? What was going on in those days? You know what I mean? And then you can clearly think, about how it happened, what happened, why it happened. It's like who, what, where, when, why, right? Yeah. Even if it was the parents or something that hurt you, you got to kind of dig into why they did it too. That's another thing. So, and most of the time the answer is they didn't know any better, or, you know, we're growing up in different times, so people have different thoughts on things or whatever, right? Anyways, I hope this helped a little bit for someone. I went long, but this was kind of important. I'm kind of trying to tell people out there, like, how I got out of some of the funk, that the mental health issues, and how I stopped thinking and focusing on shit that I'm not ready to deal with right now. You know what I mean? You can deal with it later. Try to get your body good, because if your body is good, ooh, I know I don't mind the bugs, but woo! We got some bees around here. I think they're falling from the tree. There is a bug here. I'm not touching it because some bugs can be dangerous. But there's a furry bug. It looks like a caterpillar, but it's got these things sticking out on each side. They're falling off the trees and off everywhere, you know, but I'm kind of pushing them out. You know, I don't want to touch it, you know, if I just push it off, you know. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. And hopefully, you know, it helps somebody to see this. You know, if you are suffering from some sort of mental health stuff, I know a lot of people don't watch this channel, so I can maybe say to some of you, if you write in the comments and you have a question about how can I, or what do you do for, I will respond. I will try to be better with responding to my the people who are actually looking for help. You know, I want to help you. I want you to get better. I don't want you to be out here and contemplating suicide. I don't want you out here feeling sad. I don't want you out here alone crying. I don't want that. I want you to be happy, you know, and this is the best I can do right now for anyone. You know, I wish I could do better for people. I don't know how, and I'm just by myself. So, you know, that's all I have for you guys. This was Chit Chat. You can get through this if you're having hard times. You really can. And like I said, just ask if you want to know something, and I'll do my best to tell you what I do. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today, because I think we're gonna go into town. But I'm Mona. This was Chit Chat, and I'll talk to you next time.